Okay, we're here with North East promoter Steve Wraith at the Bradley Saunders press conference, where it's been announced he's now going to be fighting for Matchroom Sport. Steve, obviously you've got quite a lot of background with Bradley.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's great. I mean, we gave him his debut in the North East as a professional, obviously at the Leisure Centre in the Licence to Thrill show. It was an honour really for us because, you know, as a young up and coming promoter in the area in the boxing side of things, to have a natural talent like Bradley on, which is fantastic. It was at the time was probably what people said was our best show. They said it was well attended, the atmosphere was great, and every fight on that bill, including, you know, the main event, which was Bradley, was great. You know, I think we've just surpassed that show with one we've done in South Shields with Anthony Nelson, purely because it was for an English title, and it was a great show. But I mean, you know, we've kept the link with Bradley, which is important, and you know, obviously that's why we're here today, because, you know, we've been instrumental, I suppose, in helping, you know, promote Bradley in the North East, and we've kept up a relationship with him. It's just nice to be, you know, here in the role that we're in.
When you say the role you're in, obviously with them signing with Eddie in Matchroom, his first fight's going to be on the 22nd of November on the big Cleverly v Bellew bill. Don't know who he's going to be fighting yet, but in terms of his fights up here, what part do you see yourself playing as this comes out with Matchroom?
We had a meeting with Eddie Hearn 18 months ago, and when I say we, I mean my business partner Danny Cox and I. We've both got our own companies. Precision Sports is Danny's company, Wraith Promotions is mine. We're going to be launching our new company in the new year, where everything will be pulled into one company, because
under one umbrella.
It needs to be. And what we've decided is, you know, we would try and push Eddie to bring boxing to the North East, to get involved. We dipped our toe in the water with Francis Warren, and, you know, we enjoyed the experience. It was good to work with him. Obviously gave us the opportunity to work with Bradley, and obviously have a few different fighters on the bill, people from outside the area, people like Rhys Evans, which, you know, went down very well. But our main aim was always to try and get Matchroom to the North East, and, you know, that meeting we had in a hotel in London's Mayfair, where Eddie gave us 45 minutes of his time, was probably the best money I've ever spent, really, because it meant that, you know, we had this opportunity to go and sell ourselves. And I think if we'd been barking up the wrong tree or given the wrong impression, I think Eddie would have probably said, look, thanks for your time, I've got to go now, I'm very busy. You know, we sat there for just under an hour, and we waxed lyrical about the North East, about the fighters up here, about how well it would be, how well received it would be if the big shows came to Newcastle. And Eddie said, I'll look at it, you know. And fast forward 18 months, you know, we've continued to do what we said we'd do, which is put boxing shows on, which is what promoters have to do. It's no good, you know, having a promoter's licence and not putting a show on in the North East. And we've put some big shows on, we've took some risks. We've worked with other companies and other promoters and managers. We've worked well with Phil Jeffries. A lot of people have tried to stir things up with me and Phil over the years, but we've got a good relationship. We've worked well with Fighting Chance Promotions, with Lewis Pendleton and Ronnie Rowe. And from our perspective, you know, we've just done our job as promoters, promoted, put shows on, put bums on seats, and just trying to keep everybody happy. We have made mistakes, and, you know, I've made mistakes, and if you don't learn from your mistakes, then, you know, then more fool you. But that's what we've done, and the last 48 hours has been a bit of a whirlwind, because, you know, we just had a phone call that Danny took from Eddie to say, is Newcastle ready for me? Because I'm on my way up. And you know, we got asked to pull it all together. It's the question we asked, you know, all that time ago. It's now finally been answered. Yes, I've got faith in you. I think you can do it. I'm happy to work with you, or, you know, get you to work for us. It needs to be sorted out. It's just in the planning process at the moment. Eddie's given us his blueprint for success. Obviously, Bradley fights on the 22nd of November, as you said, on the Cleverly Bellew bill. Then he fights again in January away from the area again. April the 4th is penciled in at the moment at Newcastle Arena, with obviously Bradley topping the bill. The names that Eddie's thrown at us are really exciting for who's going to be on that bill. I'm blown away with what Eddie's suggested, but obviously that's for him to announce.
But when you get names like Anthony Joshua fighting on the bill,
it's going to be top class.
Well, it gets the news. I mean, when Joshua fought in Scotland, it was a sellout.
Yeah.
Because he just brings that excitement, and it's it's going to bring the extra edge, which I think we need to build the bigger shows up here, the arena shows.
Our remit really is to help Matchroom make it a success in the Northeast. We've been guaranteed a TV show with Matchroom. They obviously stream shows. We've got a good relationship with a lot of promoters down the country who I've got a good relationship with. Steve Goodwin, Dave Caldwell in particular, those guys work with Matchroom to do the live streaming, and we will be doing a show prior to April the 4th up in the Northeast, and it'll be a Matchroom show and it'll be live streamed on the internet. So from our perspective, that's great. What we need to do is we need to rubber stamp it now with Eddie, exactly how we take it forward. He's obviously going to use our knowledge on the ground in the Northeast, who he needs to work with and who he needs to avoid, and there are a few he needs to avoid, and from our perspective, you know, it's just good to be able to have people like Ronnie Rowe and Lewis Pendleton standing in here today with Travis and John Lewis, and being able to give them the opportunity to have a quick chat with Eddie, because I think there's big times ahead for everybody, you know, but we're not in control of it, you know, we're not running it, but we're the people on the ground in the Northeast for Eddie, which he's given us his blessing to do. You know, how that relationship develops, it'll all happen over the next couple of days for us. Exciting times for me and Danny, but obviously with Eddie, you know, it's very much a Matchroom show. I'm not really that bothered about Wraith Promotions having the
piece
name
of the pie as
having
it
a
is.
name on a poster and being on there. I want to help make Matchroom, you know, boxing in the Northeast exciting and successful for the boxing fans, because that's what they deserve, because they're great fans.
Well, that's what we need, and there's two things we need. We need fights for the boxers, and we also need the big shows for the fans, but they need to know about it. We need to make sure we get the publicity on these shows, and I think it's naturally going to come with Sky.
I heard Mark Closel's interview, obviously with yourself, and I think he's wrong about the publicity side of things. I think from my perspective, it's the one thing I am good at. I'm a self-publicist. I've always put myself out there and put myself in, you know, in the public eye and in the media. I've done it in Newcastle United for 30
quite
years,
creatively at times as
years,
well.
Carried a coffin. But you know, when you look at those kind of things, and you look at the kind of media that we've attracted for our fights, when you bear in mind that you know, the shows that we put on are small hall fights, I think we've done remarkably well, and I think you're doing an injustice to the likes of Time Tees, BBC in particular, who, you know, have pulled the stops out to come and help us cover the shows. Simon O'Rourke has done a fantastic job for North East Boxing. He's covered all of the summer rumbles and that for Phil, and really put them on a pedestal. And for me, I don't know where Mark's coming from with that comment, but you know, that's Mark, and you know, he's made his mouth go on a documentary, and he's got to live with that, you know. So for me, I'm happy with the publicity that we drive towards our shows, and we just look after ourselves, you know. I don't want to have a war with Mark Closel.
No.
What I want to do with Mark is, you know, it would be nice to work with him, but unfortunately, certain things have happened, and I do feel as if that ship's sailed, you know.
Well, it's one of those things from my point of view, obviously from an impartial, I try to keep it as impartial as possible.
You've got to.
But in terms of the promoters in the Northeast, there's always going to be rivalries, there's always going to be certain differences of opinion. But for me, it's best for everybody. You don't have to be best mates, but if we can work together, share best practice, that sort of thing, and move forward.
It's such a small area, Phil, and you know, you have to put your thinking cap on when you're going to speak on camera and when you're going to say things. And ideally, you want to be working together. You know, Phil Jeffries, Steve Wraith, Ronnie Rowe and Lewis Pendleton, Mark Closel. We should all really be working together to make the area stronger. It's something which I came out with last year. I think you were at the press conference. It needs to be done. But unfortunately, what happens is, you know, some people say, yes, we're going to do one thing, and then they go and do another. And, you know, as I said to you very early on in the interview there, I've made mistakes, you know. Prime example would be, you know, when you're dealing with boxers and managers and you know, there's always going to be a breakdown in communication. You'll say you'll do one thing and then do another, you know. And I think ticket deals get people's backs up, you know. And we've had issues with boxers over that, you know, and it's ongoing. We had one on our last show, and
see, I can see both sides of the argument.
It's politics, which is obviously going to happen, Phil. You know? It's obviously going to happen.
But it's from my point of view, everybody out there is doing their bit.
Yeah.
But the communication isn't as effective as it needs to be, and that's where we can all work together.
Yeah.
Which is what we're doing here now. We're getting more video interviews, getting more coverage out there, giving the people who are involved in the game the chance to get their views across, to let people know what's happening. Because if you're promoting a show every 3 months, 6 months, and what's happening in between, got to keep it on the.
There's no such thing as bad publicity, and you need to make sure that it's out there. And, you know, if you're going to push this and push this, I think it's great. You know, I mean, we had Sky Tyne and Wear, you've got Maiden Tyne and Wear coming along, which is launched this week. And the more publicity that the fighters have, especially to help promote themselves and push their careers, the better. So yeah, I mean, it's great, you know, and good luck with it. You know, I hope it works well. I'm pleased to be able to do an interview with you today, and hopefully it's the first of many. You know.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go, obviously we're here for Bradley in the Sky situation. We've got 2 shows at the end of the month, the 29th and the 30th, so it's a bit of a busy weekend. What's your thoughts ahead of those 2 shows?
2 cracking shows. You know, the fight fans are spoiled for choice. We've got Cleverly Bellew on the 22nd, obviously with Bradley making his debut, and I know there's a lot of North East fight fans who are going down to that. And then obviously on the 29th and the 30th, you've got 2 cracking shows. Two shows which are far enough apart not to affect each other's ticket sales, and ultimately I think there's some cracking fights lined up. And, you know, it's hard to say who you want to go and watch because all the fighters on both bills are great. It'd be great to see Glenn Foot back in the ring. He's a fantastic talent, and you know how much of a bigger fan I am of the Ward brothers. You know, both fantastic fighters. But on the flip side, the one at Gateshead obviously always got a special place in my heart. You know, I put a lot of my shows on Gateshead. My very first pro show was obviously at the Lancastrian Suite. But just watching the likes of John Lewis Dickinson, you know, stepping out in Gateshead Leisure Centre.